back to On the Middle East, where we discuss the big and interesting stories in the region. Today, I'll be taking you to northeast Syria, or Rojava, Western Kurdistan, as the Kurds there call their lands. The Kurdish-led administration that runs the region will be holding municipal elections there on June 11th that will encompass 7 administrative districts known as cantons. They include Arab-majority ones, such as Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor, that were liberated from the Islamic State by the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces with the help of the global coalition, led by the United States. However, some of the main opposition groups are boycotting the polls on the grounds that they are not legitimate. Turkey views the autonomous administration in north and east Syria as a threat to its national security because of its alleged ties to the PKK, a Kurdish group that has been fighting the Turkish state since 1984. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has warned that Turkey will intervene to prevent the elections without saying how, just as the Turkish military is stepping up its attacks against Rojava. The Biden administration has aired its opposition to the elections, saying the conditions for holding them are not in place. It has asked the Kurdish-led administration to postpone the polls. With us here to discuss this issue today is Saleh Muslim, co-chair of the Democratic Unity Party that shares power in the autonomous administration.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and to your audiences.
And this brings us to the end of this episode of On the Elections. For more in-depth coverage of the region from Syria our outstanding
that
team,
are scheduled
please
to
go
take
to
place on June 11th. But there was a development today that calls that date into question. A group of political parties appealed to the higher electoral commission saying they needed more time to prepare for this election. Could you kindly tell us a little bit more about this development and what it means?
Well, yes, as you know, I mean, those elections are made according to the social contract, which was about 2 months ago was approved by the people, and according to that, we should make some elections in the aerial time, in possible time, as soon as possible. And according to that, those election commission, that election, they have decided to make it in the 30th of May. And then it was because some conditions were not available, so they postponed it to the 11th. And now everything was ready, actually ready for the 11th, and everybody is working hardly on propaganda. So everything is going on, I mean, as it will be done in the 11th of June. But what happened newly, there are four parties. They are joining also. I mean, those parties belonging to here, they are joining these elections also. They said, well, it's not incompatible with the social contract, because you are, I mean, as a social contract, you are giving about more than 20 days for the propaganda and so activities. And you've given us a short time, which is not enough for that. And in some places still, I mean, those elections cards are not distributed everywhere. We are talking about more than 3 million cards to be published and to be distributed everywhere. They said it's not enough for that. And also there are some other conditions. So they applied to this commission, the High Commission. I don't know what will be the result, but of course, I mean, everybody here, all the parties and all the candidates, and so they will listen to the decision which came from the High Commission of the Electoral High Commission.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, inevitably, if the elections are postponed in response to their demand, there will certainly be speculation that the real reason is that perhaps the United States has expressed its opposition to these elections being held at this time, saying that the conditions are not right for them to be held, and that they had in fact said so to the leadership in Rojava. What exactly did they say? What reasons has the United States put forward for calling on you to postpone these elections?
Well, the United States didn't say so because, of course, I mean, they support any democratic, elections and any democratic movement in this area. Usually they support it, and they support these elections too. But what they have said, I mean, in the foreign ministry's declaration, what they have said is it's not convenient this time because they were talking about the the United Nations declaration, I mean, which is 2254
Yes.
resolution, yeah, that resolution, and because this resolution is not in its way, so any elections in Syria will be not enough and not be clear. So this is what they have said. They are not against this one, but they say in generally the atmosphere in Syria, because of the violences, whatever it is not convenient for any election. That's what they have said.
So you
So
don't think
if
that it has anything to do with the fact that the United States is concerned that these elections may provoke further Turkish attacks? Because we all know the Turkish position is very clear. They consider the very existence, in fact, of your administration as some kind of national security threat. And President Erdogan has said that he hasn't quite said how, but he's suggested that Turkey will take action to prevent these elections. Do you not think that that's the real reason the US doesn't want you to hold them?
we don't know. We don't know really what they have. But we are sure. I mean, they are dealing with Turkey. There are deal between them and so. But what they have said, I don't know. But they didn't tell us. All what they have said, the atmosphere maybe according to 2254 is not enough to make fair elections here. Well, that's what they have said to us.
So basically, they're citing the UN resolution that calls for the drawing up, the drafting of a new constitution by all the legitimate parties, groups in Syria, and in the wake of that, to hold elections, correct, throughout the country.
Yes, but something I want to mention, really.
Yes.
United States doesn't interfere to our decisions at all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we respect them, we respect the others. Maybe sometimes we consult each other. This is something different because of the friend alliance, whatever it is. But they didn't detect us to do so and not so. And this decision is made by us. And maybe what they think, we don't know really. But of course, I mean, there are many, I mean, our practices, I mean, our relations between us and the United States through this international coalition started since 2015 till now. And there were many cases. They wanted us to do something, and we decided according to our benefits.
Oh, could you give us an example of, America
at the beginning,
wanting something?
2015, yeah, well, 2015, they said you shouldn't liberate members, for example. But our people decided to liberate it, and they went on. And after that, after this success and liberation, they supported us. This is one of them. And the others, I mean, many cases, we decide what to do freely, I mean. And of course, we ask them to do, and we consult them before. But at that time, we were confident that we are able to liberate members, for example. It was at the beginning of our relations. You see,
Well,
and until now, they didn't interfere to many our decisions. We do, which is benefit for our people and in interest our people. And of course, we respect the others too. I mean, our friends and alliances, we respect them.
well, in fact, you know that certainly the Turkish media keeps spinning this line that the elections are actually part of a US plan to create an independent Kurdistan in Syria. And obviously, Turkish officials are feeding that line to the pro-government media. So, in fact, by opposing these elections, or at least, you know, making the statement that they did, the State Department, they're somehow, I think,
it's possibly yes.
sort of contradicting that claim by Turkey. So, in a way, I think it empowers you, doesn't it? Because it shows that this is truly your decision, that you are exercising your free will, and that it's not the US that's telling you to do this, quite the opposite. But Mr. Muslim, can you please explain to our audience why these elections are important and what do you expect them to achieve?
Well, first of all, I mean, we didn't witness any practical democracy in the steppes in the Middle East at all. And our practices with the regime, they just nominate somebody to be over there, and they decide everything. Everything is decided from the center, from Damascus. So it was completely different. This is first time, according to the social contract, it will be elected by themselves. I mean, the people themselves. And it's kind of local governance. You see, it's not only the, I mean, the mayor of one city or one place. No, it's kind of, let's say, we have, for example, I mean, a council for that, which is, according to the city, some of them there are 20 people, some of them are 40 people, according to the situation, and two presidents co-presidency system, which is a woman and man, which is, I mean, it not happened anywhere. So what we are doing is a radical democracy. You see, grassroots democracy.
So at every level of governance, you will have people who are democratically elected, and it will be a man and a woman in each case. And
any decision by them, nobody can change it.
And it's important to remind our audience that these elections are taking place not just in the Kurdish-dominated areas, but also in the Arab majority areas.
No, now, I mean, in Deir ez-Zor, for example, there are many cities, many places, all the, I mean, those, the mayors and whatever it is, the council would be elected by themselves.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they want this to be done.
And will they also have women, one man, one woman?
Yes, all the, I mean, everything for them, and already they have, I mean, in the constitution, I mean, what they have, executive council also, already they have co-presidential system, one woman and one man, which is new for the Arabs. I mean, in Raqqa, in Tabqa, in Deir ez-Zor, and the same for the Syrians. If they have small village or small town, they will elect their council and their mayors and whatever it is, and they will decide what to do for their, I mean, situation, and they will do, I mean, will serve their people. So this is the first time, I mean, to be done, and nobody can detect what to do. I mean, even from the higher, I mean, councils also, they cannot change their decision. They should decide on what to do.
But of course, there is still this issue of legitimacy, because one of the main political groups, the Kurdish National Council, that comprises parties like the KDP, are boycotting these elections, doesn't that worry you that there will be a certain argument that will be made that these elections are not truly representative because these groups did not participate? At the same time, you have the Syrian Catholic Archbishop Joseph Shami saying that the Christians will not be taking part in these elections. Can you sort of respond to the legitimacy critique of the election, the fact that not everybody is taking part in them?
Well, as we know, I mean, we have about 33 parties permitted in this area. All of them are sharing in it. You see, and those, if you are talking about the National Syrian Council or Kurdish Council, they are not involved, I mean, in this administration at all, and they don't recognize, I mean, any governance or any institution in this area. So how they can join it? Of course, I mean, some of them and their supporters are joining it. And for the Christians, the same. All Christians are sharing in these elections. I mean, Syriacs and the Syrian Democratic Party and the Syrian National Party, whatever it is.
So is this archbishop more of a pro-regime figure, and is he sort of...
Maybe, yes, maybe, because he's staying in Damascus also. Maybe, but I mean, the people here, and even, I mean, the bishops in Hasaka and so, they are joining the activities, and in many places they have, according to my knowledge, as I know, our people, they have, I mean, given, I mean, the co-presidential of Kamishli to the Syrians. So they will be elected. I mean, our party will support them in Kamishli. So they are sharing, and it's okay for them. But for any case, from the beginning, they were against this project.
NAKS being the Kurdish National Council, just in case our audience...
Kurdish National Council, yes.
Yeah.
They are against it, and they want to destroy it. And mainly they are not worried about what's going on here at all.
Well, what about the regime? They have been silent pretty much so far, right? They haven't said much. The Turks are the ones who are sort of leading the charge against these elections. Well, have you had any kind of a reaction from the regime, either privately or otherwise?
Well, some voices coming out that they are not accepting. So I think what they wish to do, Turkey is already doing it, so they don't need to...
I see.
Their voice too, because maybe they are not able, I mean, to have a war, to have fighting, to threat it. But of course, Turkey is doing, and maybe they are happy about that.
Do you think Turkey will actually do something? I mean, beyond what it's already doing, which is carrying out drone strikes, airstrikes, though admittedly since January, that's come down a bit because there was that wave of attacks against civilian infrastructure, critical infrastructure, that was really very debilitating for your people. But that sort of eased, and now we're seeing the odd drone strike here and there. But do you think that this will escalate? We've got, what, exactly 1 week before the elections, if indeed they're held on the 11th. What do you think Turkey will do, actually?
Well, actually, I don't know, because there are, I mean, especially those Turkish fascism, and they are very clumsy. I mean, you cannot expect what to do. And they are doing it since 8 years, since 2016 till now. They didn't stop their war against us by drones, by shellings, by whatever it is, occupying. They didn't keep anything, didn't do it, I mean, for the Kurdish people, for these areas in Rojava and northeast of Syria. So we don't know what they are going to do. But of course, I mean, if they do something, we will defend ourselves against that. But maybe possibly can do it. But what I think, already they have done it. I mean, those strike in Tel Hamis killed 4 people and injured 12 civilians. And yesterday was in Kobani. They injured some. So they are doing by drones. So maybe this by these elections, and so they will try to increase their attacks or to do something. But of course, I mean, our people will defend themselves.
Well, one final question. Will you have monitors, any international observers at this election?
Well, actually, I don't know the details because this is the Electoral Commission, I mean, what they are doing. But as I heard, they are invited many sides from the United States, from France, from Europe, from, I mean, those civil activities and so to join it and to see or to witness at least, I mean, to observe these elections democratically. It is open for everyone, and even for you, you can come and witness what's going on.
Well, I want to be sure that they're taking place before I buy my ticket. But let's see what happens, what the Commission decides. Mr. Muslim, thank you very much for joining us here today. And we hope to keep in touch and to see you if and when we come to Rojava.
Thank you very much again, giving me this opportunity to talk to your people, and you're welcome anytime.
And this brings us to the end of this episode of On the Middle East. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Mr. Davutoglu as much as I did. Do tune in again for another episode, and please read our coverage on www.al-monitor.com. Thank you and goodbye.